What's up, everybody? Rob here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This video is going to be all about why I only believe in Bitcoin. I am personally all in Bitcoin. And when I say all in Bitcoin, my crypto position is all Bitcoin. I have nothing else. And right now, as I'm looking down on the charts and stuff, looks like Ethereum is having a great day, back up at 1,300 on Ethereum. There is a lot of talk about what is the next big crypto. Is there other cryptos to compete with Bitcoin? That's a big point that Peter Schiff brings up a lot. Is could a Bitcoin just pop out of thin air, a new one that could compete with this current Bitcoin and take it off of its pedestal, so to speak? Is there an altcoin that is going to provide some insane ROI in comparison to, say, like silver versus gold? Silver might be looked at that it's going to have a much larger ROI than gold is going to have. These types of things are the talk of the crypto world. I cannot tell you how many times I have been asked, what do you think about this XRP or this polka dot coin? Or what do you think about Dogecoin? Elon Musk recommended it. Elon Musk is joking around with that, just in case you didn't know, with the Dogecoin thing. To put it into perspective here, there is over $1 trillion market cap in crypto. And it's so crazy to say that because literally just a few months ago, I made videos on Bitcoin versus gold. I made videos countering Peter Schiff's arguments. This is back when Bitcoin was like 10,000, then 15,000. I think I made another one like 17,000. So it's crazy to say the market cap is now over $1 trillion as I'm making this video, 1.04 trillion exactly as I'm making this video. Because back then it was, we were saying, you know, Bitcoin's the market cap of crypto is like 400 billion and then 500 billion, 600 billion. And now we're over $1 trillion in crypto. So to put that in perspective, that is 1/10 of gold's market cap, roughly speaking. There's somewhere around 8 to 10 trillion worth of gold out there mined above ground. Crypto is currently 1/10 of that. So it's not exactly like that joke internet money thing that it used to be when you realize just how large this market cap has grown. Something I want you to know and why I'm all in Bitcoin is if the crypto space continues to grow like this, and we're talking there's thousands of coins on here, you know, thousands and thousands. I have them ranked, you know, Bitcoin number 1, Ethereum number 2, Tether number 4. Or I have them ranked. This coinmarketcap.com has them ranked, and not affiliated in any way. But you have them, all the different coins, and there's thousands of coins out there, thousands of them. So what's crazy about this is Bitcoin is 679.91 billion of that 1 trillion market cap of all crypto worldwide. Now what that tells me, and then the second is Ethereum at 152 billion. So what that tells me, and we're speaking with just rough figures here, is Bitcoin holds 70% roughly of the entire crypto world's market cap. Roughly 70% of that. So we're talking $1 trillion space, 70% of it is Bitcoin, 15% of it Ether, right? So 85% of all of the crypto is Bitcoin and Ether. Now, if there was one other crypto that I'm interested in and I'm looking at it very close, it's Ethereum. Because I've listened to Vitalik. Guy's a genius. No doubt about it. It's very interesting that you have Vitalik that is the founder of Ethereum, but you don't know who the founder of Bitcoin is. I would imagine because it'd be pretty scary to be that person. You know, if you're Vitalik, it's like, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct. It's kind of scary. Because the people you're going against, the people who created fiat currency, are kind of scary. You know, you're going against some serious forces there. The reason I'm all in Bitcoin, though, is if this crypto world continues to grow, one of these cryptos has to be the reserve crypto of the world. Just like the dollar is the reserve currency of the world right now in the fiat world, there has to be one of them that is the reserve currency of the crypto world. Reserve asset, currency asset, same thing kind of. Bitcoin is very unique in the sense that it has grown to the scale that it is now. To elaborate on that, one of the biggest arguments that Peter Schiff has is, oh, there's just another Bitcoin could pop out of thin air. No, just out of thin air. It's ridiculous, the claim. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's completely uneducated. It's not even borderline correct, that statement. He's just, maybe he just doesn't do his research. I'm not sure. But I've been coming at Peter Schiff saying, I'll debate you on this. I'd love to talk to you about this. But to say that someone could just pop a Bitcoin, a new type of Bitcoin out there in the world, they're trying. There's all these different kinds of altcoins out there. But the problem is the network has grown so much. It isn't just like this is just, money sitting there and that's once it's all mined and the computers are done with it, it's over. It's like, no, these computers are being rewarded for the proof of work. They're being rewarded to do the transactions. So when Bob wants to send Jim Bitcoin, they have to rely on the computer networks of the world that are mining Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners. So to say that there's going to be a huge mining system this elaborate and this strong of a blockchain that has been defined over 12, 13 years now, that it can just pop out of thin air, that you'd have, you're talking millions of computers out there mining Bitcoin, millions. All of that happening right now, and they're already in place and established. If you told a miner tomorrow, I think nickel is going to be the next metal. We should all mine nickel. It's like, no, we're going to mine gold because we get paid a lot for that. We know how much this gold is going for. We're going to stick to mining gold. You're not just going to overnight get somebody to change from mining Bitcoin where they're being rewarded so strong on a coin that is $36,000 right now per Bitcoin. They're not going to change to mine your penny coin, your penny stock coin. They're not going to do that. They want to be rewarded for having these insane mining operations. So to say overnight that someone can just take Bitcoin out of its place, it's a stretch of the imagination. And it's very uneducated on how blockchain works, how strong the blockchain is for Bitcoin, and how established it's become. So that argument to me is completely invalid and uneducated. That is really the main reason why I think so strongly of Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. I've had people coming at me, what do you think of XRP? It's got so much potential being only pennies. I can really afford it. A lot of people don't even understand that are getting into cryptocurrency that you can own fractional amounts of Bitcoin. You can own fractional amounts of Ether. So it looks appealing in the same way a penny stock looks appealing in the stock market. The only difference is you can buy fractional, and that's actually kind of a new thing with the stock market, buying fractional stocks. I think Cash App is doing that where you can buy fractional stocks and Robinhood and stuff like that. But the same thing applies to Bitcoin. You can own fractions of Bitcoin. You can own $5 of Bitcoin. So don't get distracted by that and get, if you're not educated on the fact that you can have fractional amounts of Bitcoin, you might look at an altcoin and go, well, I can afford a lot of XRP because it's only, 37 cents a coin. The other thing about Bitcoin is getting hardened over time. It is the only asset that is hardening and hardening over time. It ends at 21 million, so it is actually finite. Gold is somewhat finite. Bitcoin is finite. After that point, the way to mine Bitcoin is by helping with the transactions and the proof of work. So the more you look at Bitcoin, it's just so elegant. It's elegant as a store of value and a way to transfer value. Now, Ethereum is very interesting because it is also, it's like code. It's like Bitcoin that is attached to code as well. So you can send this money around and you can also deploy smart contracts. And I'm going to get into that into a different video with Ethereum. I'm not opposed to Ethereum. I'm very adamant against going into the smaller coins. But if there was one other coin that I'm interested in being in, it's Ethereum. Right now, I am only Bitcoin. And this is why I'm only in Bitcoin, is if this does continue to be adopted as a currency of the world. This is the first currency, first asset that could possibly be multinational, worldwide, and just be ready to be adopted like that. And there's nothing anybody can do or say about it, which is crazy. If one entity outlaws Bitcoin, then another one might not. So you'll see people flying out to Puerto Rico. You'll see people flying out to, the Caymans or wherever that, or maybe say, wherever it's going to be accepted, it would actually serve whatever entity outlaws it very bad, because then you're going to see people flocking to the other places that do allow it. It's so unique, everything about it. It's almost like hope. It's like if this actually succeeds, we have something that there's no real control over, in a sense. I don't want to get too off track with that, but Bitcoin growing at the rate that it's growing and being adopted at the rate that it's being adopted. Another fact, not only the biggest point is that you can't just make a system like this with all of these miners worldwide. I would love for you after this video maybe to look up what mining operations look like in Bitcoin. I mean, we're talking elaborate warehouses with stacks and stacks and stacks of computers mining these Bitcoin. This network is established. So those miners are being rewarded currently, because we're at about 19 million Bitcoin mined, somewhere between 18.5 and 19 million Bitcoin mined. Once it hits 21 million, it's over. You can't just mine them anymore. It's over. It ends at 21 million. However, these miners are now going to be paid by helping the transactions flow. It's almost as if, say I wanted to wire you money. I wanted to wire you, say, 100 grand. And I said, and you told me, hey, I need this money right now. I need this money right now. Okay, well, I can pay the network more Satoshis, which is fractional amounts of Bitcoin. I can pay the network more Satoshis to send that 100,000 worth of Bitcoin fast, like instant fast. But I'm going to have to pay more. So it's almost as if the bank told you, we can do this wire transfer within a minute, but we need to charge you $100 versus $25 to send this wire transfer. That is how the network gets paid. You could say, hey, I don't really care if it takes, a day to get to me. Then you're not going to have to pay as much Satoshis to make that transaction go through. But that is, the mining is perpetual in that way. It doesn't just end at 21 million and then you go, oh, let's throw away the computers. We don't need these anymore. Because that wouldn't make very much sense. And a lot of people might not understand that, including myself until recently. I'm learning and sharing what I learn as I go along. I'm no guru, but I love to share the information that I do know. It's so elegant the way that it's designed. So the first thing there is you can't just replicate this system of a coin that holds 70% of the market cap. These miners are going to want to continue to mine Bitcoin, just like a miner of gold is not going to change from mining gold to mining nickel. I don't get paid nearly as much. Why would I do this? It makes no sense. So Bitcoin won the battle, not only by being first, but now being at the market cap that it is. They get rewarded for that. And they're going to continue to want to be rewarded for these elaborate mining systems that they have in place. Other coins just don't have that. Ethereum is getting pretty strong. I mean, 150 billion market cap is not exactly small with Ethereum. They own about 15% of the entire market cap of crypto, which is something that I want to talk about more in detail in another video when I'm talking about Bitcoin versus Ethereum. That's going to be the next video I drop on the YouTube channel. But this one is just talking about why I have been all in Bitcoin. And also when I'm saying I'm all in Bitcoin, my crypto position is all in Bitcoin, not my entire net worth. I have much more precious metals, much more platinum, much more silver, much more gold than I do Bitcoin. My positions now, I don't have more gold than I have Bitcoin because my Bitcoin position grew so much. I have not sold any of my Bitcoin, for the record. So my first place I park money is silver, then platinum, then Bitcoin, then gold, then palladium, then a little bit of rhodium. That's kind of my diversification in decentralized assets. I'm out of the stock market right now personally, but let's not get too distracted. I have that thing where I'll start getting distracted with my ADD or whatever it is. But I'm all in Bitcoin based on the network and based on it being adopted as a reserve currency. The other thing to talk about is if it does get adopted as a reserve currency, and this is something that Peter Schiff has done again. I have to, really establish this. This is not Bitcoin versus gold. This is not like some, battle between Bitcoin and gold like Peter Schiff has done. It's not. He's just very embarrassed. You know, he's very embarrassed. He's been very wrong about Bitcoin. It keeps going to all-time highs. He keeps saying it's going to, you know, be worthless. It keeps going up. More billionaires are jumping in. More institutional buyers are jumping in. And he's just sitting there feeling very embarrassed. So he has to stand the line. You got to give him credit for at least being pot committed. You got to give him credit for at least being pot committed. But at the end of the day, it is not Bitcoin versus gold. If gold decided to outgrow, you know, Bitcoin on, you know, an ROI basis, it's already bigger on a market cap basis, but on an ROI basis, that doesn't make it, you know, a battle between these two assets. It doesn't make it a battle. These two assets are so minuscule, are so tiny in comparison to the giant bubble of fiat currency that it's trying to get. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like this huge, you know, pie the size of a country needs a small slice, you know, like a city slice to be put over there to make these market caps just explode. You know, if you're talking about a 10 trillion space with gold and you're talking now a 1 trillion space with crypto, and specifically, you know, a 600, 700 billion space with Bitcoin, if it adopts as a worldwide currency, as a reserve currency asset, how many hundreds of trillions of dollars are there out there? A quadrillion? Do we even know how many loans have been given out by the banks? How much has been printed and then multiplied by the commercial banks? Does anybody know? I can tell you to the exact decimal point how much Bitcoin is out there and how much has moved around today. Nobody can tell us that with certainty down to the penny with the dollar. They can throw some rough figure out, but nobody knows with certainty. But the point is, of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars of fiat currency out there between all the different countries and euros and dollars and yen, it doesn't take, you know, a rocket scientist to know, like, okay, well, if 10 trillion of these hundreds and hundreds of trillions out there, just 10 of it pooled over here, you're talking about Bitcoin being able to go up to being 500,000 a coin, $1 million a coin. This is probably going to make gold's market cap rise as well. It's probably going to make silver's market cap rise as well. It's probably going to make platinum's market cap rise as well. And Bitcoin will be a front runner. It'll be a front runner. They're all runners running on the track. None of them are fighting each other. That's what Peter Schiff has made it into. Like, oh, you know, these guys are in a cage. This is a UFC match. It's not that. It's not that at all. They're front runners of decentralized assets, and you're always going to need silver. You're always going to need gold. You're always going to need platinum. You're always going to need precious metals. Bitcoin is just another decentralized asset. If Bitcoin continues to grow, that's a beautiful thing for the collectible space, for the precious metal space. It's a great thing. And it's drawing a lot more eyes on our space. So why am I talking about all of this? Is because if more money funnels out of fiat currency and goes into decentralized assets, they're going to go into crypto the same way they would go into gold. You know, the central banks would be gobbling up gold and silver first. They wouldn't really be looking at palladium and rhodium and all the other smaller altcoins, so to speak. They would funnel right into Bitcoin. They would go right into the top one, maybe Ethereum, but for sure Bitcoin. When you talk about the billionaires going into crypto, they're going for sure into Bitcoin first. It's not like a diversification among cryptos. They're only going into Bitcoin because this actually has the network. This is actually being supported by Cash App, by PayPal. You know, when Coinbase first came out, I remember on the first bull run of Bitcoin, we were all very skeptical. It's like, what is this Coinbase thing? They're not really a brand name. They're this new app platform. I don't really know about this Coinbase thing. I was looking up videos trying to learn about it. But this time around, seeing that you can buy Bitcoin on PayPal, that's a serious brand name there. That's been around for a very, very long time. I mean, trillions and trillions in transactions through PayPal. That kind of a reputation now being in the crypto space specifically for Bitcoin is huge. It's huge. And I know guys like Peter Schiff want to undermine that, but it's huge. And I've been saying that for a very long time. I hope I've remained consistent on my channel, but I really want to stress how much money could funnel into Bitcoin. If institutions decide to go into emerging markets and they decide to start dropping more and more into Bitcoin, while that asset is hardening over time, the other thing that scares me about Ethereum is it is not ultimately finite like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is modeled after gold. It's modeled in a sense where it's even actually it's more finite than gold because it actually ends, but it's modeled to be more of a store of value than like a coin with code on it, which is very interesting. The smart contract generation of Ethereum is very interesting. And I'm going to talk about that in the next video. But because of the way that Bitcoin is designed and because of the system that is currently in place around Bitcoin, I don't really want to be anywhere else because I still look at Bitcoin as schmuck insurance. You know, it really is schmuck insurance where if you are wrong, you know, you can afford to lose, 1 to 5% or whatever it is of your decentralized portfolio that you put into Bitcoin. Mine has grown substantially, but if I was just to be jumping into Bitcoin right now, I'd probably want to be around 1 to 5% of my decentralized portfolio. That's where I would want to be parked personally. That's not advice. That's just my opinion, not to be taken as financial advice, to say a disclaimer. But because Bitcoin has grown so much, I have a larger position in my decentralized portfolio of Bitcoin. I don't want to sell that position in Bitcoin, and I don't want to move that position around in Bitcoin because this is still a gamble, so to speak. It's not a sure thing. I tend to think that if there was a 1% likelihood that Bitcoin was going to be adopted, now with its market cap at 700 billion and this many eyeballs on Bitcoin and PayPal and Cash App and all these institutions and these billionaires talking about Bitcoin all over the net in the information age. Right now, we really live in the information age. We're all on lockdown. We're all on our computers. We're all studying things, and Bitcoin is at all-time hype levels, and barrier of entry has dropped tremendously to get into Bitcoin. All of these things are a perfect case scenario, a perfect storm for money to just, every time someone buys a full Bitcoin, $36,000 of fiat currency gets poofed away, just like Poof Powell would do it, but it gets poofed into a different system. So if that continues to happen, 36,000, poof, a Bitcoin, 36,000, poof, a Bitcoin. It's going to continue down that way, and they're not going to go and try to poof their dollars into Polkadot coin or Dogecoin or these little altcoins. I remember when the first bull run happened, everyone was talking about that it was a Jason Sun guy and Tron or something, and that didn't really end too well. I believe in it in the same, like the Mike Maloney argument that central banks are going to go and gobble up gold and silver first. That same argument applies to me with Bitcoin, where the more the institutions go in, they're going to go to the firmly established blockchain, the firmly established network first. I am very interested about Ethereum, but if I was going to get into any other coin, completely uninterested. Only Bitcoin and Ethereum I'm interested in, and I'm not in Ethereum at all, which is looking like I should have got in on it when it fell to 1,000, but I'm watching it. And I'm going to drop a video on my buying strategy with Bitcoin as well. But for me, I still look at it as an insurance policy. It is still an insurance policy to me. It is not a guarantee. The whole crypto space is not a guarantee. It is risk. Bitcoin is the least of that risk. If there was a 1% likelihood of it getting adopted, now that you got all of this going in its favor, there might be a 20%, 25% likelihood of it getting adopted. I used to say like a 10% likelihood of it getting adopted. But the more that this continues to grow and the more eyeballs that are on it and the more institutions getting in, that likelihood is growing tremendously day by day. It's crazy because it's very easy to think of Bitcoin matching gold's market cap at 10 trillion. And if that happens, you're talking about a $500,000 Bitcoin. When you think of them from the Peter Schiff perspective of them competing with each other, then you go, okay, I don't know about Bitcoin getting to 10 trillion. What are they going to take gold's market cap down to 2 trillion and then bring it up to 10 trillion? That doesn't make sense. But when you realize that these two are on the same team of decentralized assets that are looking to take away from this huge chunk of pie over here, it's almost like Tesla in the auto industry. When people were first skeptical on Tesla in the auto industry, they're like, oh, how is this little electric car company going to make it in the auto industry? Well, they were a revolutionary product going into a multi-trillion-dollar industry, ripe for disruption. Well, here we got hundreds of trillions of dollars that is being operated on fiat currency that needs to be fixed. It has to be fixed. That's something we all can agree on. There is no way the system can continue to be what it is. These are beautiful, elegant systems. You know, gold has been in place forever. Bitcoin is, you know, relatively new, over 12, 13 years. It's not exactly overnight. Bitcoin, I mean, fiat currency is a 50-year test trial. Crypto has been around for like 12, 13 years. So it's kind of getting a little bit of maturity to it. But the point is, there is so much fiat currency to be poofed into the crypto space. Just like PoofPal poofed it from the first time it got printed. So we're poofing that money from, you know, fiat into Bitcoin. I hope that helps you guide your process on, you know, the whole crypto space in general, because a lot of people don't understand just how much of the pie Bitcoin has. It's tremendous, this slice of pie of the crypto space that Bitcoin has. But it's not just the amount of money, you know, in the internet sitting there. It is also the fact that it has this huge elaborate system of miners out there to support these transactions and to support the proof of work. It's beautiful, it's elegant, and was coming from somebody that's always trying to find the nails on the chalkboard thing with something, what's wrong with it. I can't find what's wrong with Bitcoin. It's such a beautiful system. And that's why of all the cryptos, that's the only place I want to park right now. Otherwise, it's a gamble, sure, but it's like playing poker versus going to a blackjack table. You can choose what hand you want to get in with poker, and you can kind of be smart about it. But these other blackjack is just luck with the house in favor in a sense. And that's what I feel like with the little altcoins. I just feel like I'm just blatantly gambling. If I'm getting in altcoins, I've heard of people making big percentages and stuff. It's like penny stocks to me. It's gambling. Like, that's it. The way I think of altcoins. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is truly insurance to me. If we go to a digital age and we go to an age where we have decentralized money and we need something like that, that's going to gobble up all the institutional money first. There is no argument about it in my mind. So I hope the video helped you. If it did, if the video helped you, please consider smashing that like button. Take out the frustrations that you have on fiat currency on that like button. You know, really take it out on that like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel, would really appreciate it. I also have the Instagram thing going now. The Instagram is relatively new, but you can actually reach out and talk to me there. It is me on the Instagram. I'm a pretty small-time YouTuber, pretty small-time guy on Instagram as well. Just at Rob Soltan on Instagram. Would really appreciate it if you wanted to follow there. If you click the bell after clicking the subscribe, there should be a subscribe in the corner of this video somewhere, and then down below a little bit. If you want to click either of those and the bell afterwards, you'll be notified of all future videos on this channel. I try my best to remain consistent, and I try my best to only put content out there that really will help. I'm learning with you. You're really on the journey with me, and I want to share what I learn with you all as I continue on this journey with you. By repeating that. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. It's been a blast growing this YouTube channel with you all. Looking forward to doing more live feeds as well. We did 2 of those live feeds recently, and it just was awesome to be able to talk with you on real time. So I want to make a more consistent schedule about that. Maybe let's talk about it on the Instagram. Thanks so much. See you at the next video. Signing out.